Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to this session today. It's lovely for you to all be here. I am joined by, my name is Rory Neary, and I'm MVP, not as it happens in Camtasia, and I'm joined by Antti Pajunen, MVP. Is that how you say your name, Antti?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's good. I'll
Now,
take that one.
the background for this, I think, roughly speaking, I've kind of touched, I dropped out a tweet and said, hey, are people interested in knowing about Camtasia? There was a bit of interest to it. And then I think Antti had a bit of interest on it. And then he asked me again. And I think at that point, I kind of thought, well, go on. I'll run a little session on Camtasia because I kind of know a few things about it. So to give you background about me, I've got a YouTube channel and I put lots of videos on there. They don't all get viewed that much. So there isn't necessarily a relationship between you creating amazing content and getting lots of views for it. I mean, I don't do things with people falling over, by the way. So that's probably, a black mark. And I also don't do videos with cats that have been in a bath, but I am considering it. So I've done maybe about sort of 250 odd videos on YouTube. And in terms of the course that I put together, I've done, well, probably getting on for 300 videos. And to be honest, I just use the same techniques every time. I don't do anything kind of special. So to that end, I'm going to do a little run through of what we're going to cover in the session. And what I'll probably do is I might do some editing. My plan is to get Cheryl and Antti to do the editing. I'll probably have one or other of them sharing their screen. But what I will do is I will do the editing first. So I'll show you it done at pace. Then I will get Cheryl and Antti to do that editing piece as well. Now, Cheryl and Antti, have you downloaded the content that you'll need in order to be able to run the session? So there's a funny file that you have to download. It's not the Camtasia thing. It's actually, there's an actual file, a download file that you need to get hold of. Okay, I'll take that.
No.
Is that a no?
Yes, that's a no. That's a no. Tell me where it is and I'll go get it.
Let me show you. So what you need to do is I need to get to the right place. So okay, let me just go to, just going to go to www.powerplatformlearn.academy, then into the bits and bobs. And then under the course, we've got this beginners. I'm about to put the link into the chat. And you can see where it says demo recording. That is the bit that you need.
Okay.
I'm waggling I hate it when people waggle their mouse, by the way. It's not good practice. And there is a way. So what I'm going to do is just going to pop that back into the chat if I can. In fact, I'm not even bright enough to do that. So more chat. No, that's not going to happen today, I don't think. 16 participants. That's the best I can do. Yeah, so I'm afraid.
Don't worry, I'll get it.
Yeah, so back on track. Okay, good. So what are we going to cover? It is a basics. This is a kind of level 100 piece. So we're going to cover things called tracks. These are the elements that you'll see this later on. But just imagine a music track with bass, treble, and so on. You essentially layer the image and an audio across each other. That's all it is. But it's really important to know that it exists. Favorites is one of the most important things in Camtasia because it allows you to have, I don't know, I only use about 5 or 6 things. And by having favorites, I can get to the things that I am most interested in using. So I am actually going to spend some time just showing you how to get to your favorites. Splitting media, it's not very difficult, but it's important to be able to do it. Then I always, it's just me, but I tend to pop my audio up a little bit to 115%, but it's not that big a deal. I do smooth the audio. And what that means is that if you're shouty at some point or a little bit quieter at other points, it kind of brings the two a bit closer together. It's really, really important to do your audio smoothing. But poor audio quality will kill your videos. Audio noise, that is how much background noise you have in your videos, and that may be things like the fan and so on, that will create like an issue for you. You've got a bit of sound there. Fading audio and video in and out, kind of nice, very easy, so worth being able to do. Silencing audio, really important, actually. Definitely at the very, very start, those first sort of 2.5 seconds before your video starts. Do you really want hiss and then start talking? Probably not. So silencing your audio is important. So as I say, I'm actually going to show you how to do these things, and then separating the audio and video. So when you record your face, you're on your face cam, if you like, it comes through as an audio stream and a visual stream, and quite often it's better to actually split the two out so you can see what's going on. It's just a bit confusing. So separating the audio and video onto different tracks is a useful technique. So that's the level 100 stuff. So back I go. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about recording Camtasia. Now this thing may, oh man, it's going to mess me up. But anyway, so this is recording of Camtasia. So I'm going to talk to you about the different elements that we can see on here. And then hopefully this will work, by the way, because if it doesn't, I'll be very cross. Yeah. So, and then I'm going to do the level 200 techniques, which is image cropping. So kind of cropping that image is really important for when you're doing green screen, because usually the edges are terrible. Image moving, so you can have an image moving across the screen as you wish, and you'll see the reason why we might want to do that. Working with green screen, which is, it's all linked in with this sort of thing. I tend to push up the cursor size, and it's because it's easier to see the cursor. I also smooth the cursor, so the cursor moves from point A to point B directly, instead of doing the whole waggly thing, which generally is just not a great way of presenting. Removing the cursor, because there are certain times, for example, if I was recording this screen and my cursor was on the screen like this, you can completely remove the cursor from the screen. And it is relevant for me when I do my videos, because actually this is an app that we're looking at here, so my cursor will be on the screen. And then this thing called lower thirds, when you have the funky little thing come on at the start where it's got like, someone's name and then something else comes in to say what their job is and so on. That's called lower thirds. And then dynamic moving images, which I feel as if, we've got that twice anyway. And that's it. So that's the session. We're 11 minutes in and we've got to cover loads of stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to, I'm going to see if I can get this bad boy onto the screen here. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to go and get the media from the course, and then I'm going to bring it into this particular thing. So I'm kind of going to be hoping that I go slow enough for Antti and Cheryl to kind of play along. And if you want to play along, that's brilliant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off here and F11 that, and then I'm going to go onto my bits and bobs course, and there's my demo recording. Okay, click on this demo recording because that should hopefully save. Okay, it's going to pop it into my downloads. Click save on that. There it goes. I don't know how big this thing is. Hopefully it's not too big because it's downloading at the moment. I already know I've got a version.
87 megs.
87 meg. Well, actually, I know where this recording is on my computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore the fact that's actually recording, and I am going to go on to Camtasia. Then I'm going to go on to media, and I'm going to, oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to go on to, look at this. And let me just do something here. Going to record. Just watch this. There's a reason why I want to do this. I want to get it to the recording thing to come up, because that'll allow me to highlight things, and it's just not playing ball. So it's going to wake up in a second. I'm going to start recording. So this is me. I'm actually going to switch gears. I'm just going to say, look, I'm going to just make a point about some of these screens here. I can't actually highlight these. So this thing here is, I'm going to talk about the recording piece. You can see the microphone I'm using. In fact, it's just getting ready to use the Realtek one, which is my computer one, but I would normally use the Yeti one, but that'll be used by Zoom at the moment. So make sure, on many occasions, I've recorded an entire passage using the wrong microphone. Bad. It makes for a very upset Rory and an upset anyone, because you've got to do the whole thing again. So I've been there before. And the camera bit, well, it's pretty obvious, but the thing that, in fact, you can see that my camera is being used at the moment, so you can see you've got to select the right camera. It's usually pretty obvious, but it can be a bit upsetting if you have chosen the wrong one. And remember, when you highlight it, you can see the camera a bit more, so you can see what you're doing, and maybe you need to switch things around so you're, in fact, switch this around so that you've got it all lined up. Now, the material that we're going to use is got green screen in it already, so that you can experience green screen. I haven't bothered today because I just thought it's a bit more fun. And you can see the levels here. I didn't tend to play with the levels that much, but that's the idea with this bit here, is you can play around here. And then there's the system audio piece here, because you might want your little dings and bells from your system. Usually you're going to want it to be off, because otherwise when you get an email and it dings, you're going to have, the ding coming through, and you'll be like, oh, how do I get rid of it? And the answer is, you might not be able to get rid of it. So I typically would not have that on. And then away you go. You click the record, and your recording will end up in this area. Now, I don't think I can. In fact, I'll do a little 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'll do a little 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just counting down on my screen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll just do stop. Oh, I don't know where it's gone. It's just gone somewhere mysterious. Honestly, I've got a few too many things on the go at the moment, so it's probably upset for that reason. But it would normally end up in this area here. But what we're going to do is we're just going to head down. Can you see that little plus icon there? That's where we've got to go. That's why I made the mistake. I went up to media. What we're going to do is hit the plus, import media. It's probably finished downloading now anyway. Go to my downloads. There's my demo recording. This is a special recording because it comprises many recordings. So when I click open on that, it is going to go back into my media bucket, and I can now use this as a recording. And what I can do is I can drag. So we're going to pretend that you've done this recording, okay? So I've dragged this onto the page, and now we can see this is what we're going to work with. And we're going to start moving through the gears here. So the very first thing that's happened is we've brought it onto the screen. And Cheryl and Antti, are you happy at this point?
Yep.
Are you playing along, or are you waiting?
Yep.
You're just playing along?
Got it. Yep.
So the next thing I'm going to do is this track number 2. I'm going to right click on that. And that is the one with my face on. And I'm going to do separate audio and video. And what will end up is another track. So we're going to have a sound track, and we're going to have my face track, and we've got a demo recording screen track. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the plus here. I'll just do it in the order in which I would normally do it. Hit the plus, right? And this bit here is the bit where you can have little elements of sound that you don't want to come in, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this green handle here and take it all the way across to the left-hand side. Then I'm going to highlight the blue. So rather, I'm going to right-click on the blue. And then I'm going to do silence audio. It won't look like much has happened. In fact, you will see it on the screen. So you can see there on the screen that you can see the audio level. Can you see that it's if I just increase the size of this track, you can just see in that area there that it is awkward to move these things around, but you can see that the audio is completely silenced in that particular space there. So that is something that I would potentially do. And if you've got poor quality, you tend to get poor quality right at the start, and then it sorts itself out. So notice that I'm just going to try and do my recorder again, because that gives me ability to do a few little things. Delete, and then do record, and then so I just hold on a tickety boo there. Pause that. Oh, it's definitely not playing ball with me. I've lost my mouse. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to be able to highlight things for you as I go through them. So the next thing I'm going to do is this is my timeline. I'm going to zoom out. In fact, you can do it. There's a shortcut to make it the full size, but I'm just zoomed out now. Now notice this thing here. It does it quite often. You can't see the sound at all. Can you see that with the levels for the sound have just disappeared? If that does happen, and it does happen quite often, if you just drag it left and drag it right, it reappears. So that's just something, I don't know. I've not, it's never been enough of a problem for me for it to be an issue. So now whilst we're looking, I am randomly going through these things, I'm afraid. I'm just doing it as I see it. What I'm now going to do is I'm now going to do some playing around with the audio. Now, can you go up to your favorites, Cheryl and Antti? And you'll probably find they're completely empty. Is that right?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and this is a problem because these are all the favorites I use. That's it. All of them done. The problem you've got is that your things that should be favorites are in different places. So in terms of the audio, I'm going to pop down to audio, and I'm going to tell you which ones. In fact, you can see which ones to favorite on the screen there. We want to favorite audio compression and noise removal because they're really good. So if I could ask you to go to audio. Now, sometimes if you can't see it on your screen, you'll have to click on more, and then you'll be able to see other elements of this particular area. It depends on how big your screen is and so on. So bring in audio compression and noise removal into your favorites. Now you could use them from here, but what I'd like you to do is just get used to using your favorites. So now we're going to go on to favorites, and in your case, you're going to have audio compression, noise removal. So what we're going to do with this is we are going to drag noise removal down onto, so left click, drag onto track 3, and then release. And on the right hand side, you'll have something, a kind of a GUID, which tells you the noise removal. It's saying the sensitivity and it's saying the amount. Typically, I make the amount 7, because what you will find is that the more of this whole noise removal and stuff you do, the more your voice starts to get warped and so on. So 7 is about right for me anyway. Just on the point of audio, if you want good audio, then you might want to, this is a Yeti Blue microphone. It's a USB microphone, very good. I tend, just in case there's vibrations coming through, I tend to put it on top of something so that you don't get those vibrations, particularly if you are typing on a keyboard. Then, which one have you got there? Oh yeah, he's got one. Good man.
So I have a terry cloth towel at the bottom. Then I made a makeshift pop filter using a piece of IKEA kitchenware, and then hair what do you call these? Like hair. Girls used to tie their hairs together.
Cool. So
makeshift pop filter.
And it does make a difference. Now, the audio quality in terms of what you're getting through now may or may not be any good. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure which one. I'm using the Yeti microphone, so that will improve your sound. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in. Look at these now. I want you to observe very closely the very high points that we have here. So you can see there are some high points of sound here, right? Those are the shouty bits, and there's low points of sound. That's probably where I'm typing on the keyboard or something. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in audio compression onto here and then release. And what you'll see is there's this whole leveling thing that goes on. Now, I know
sorry to interrupt. There's a great question in chat about the Yeti's the gain, whether it should be up or down, and I don't actually know the answer to that, so that's why I want to kind of highlight that it gets answered.
You know what? The only thing I do on it is I make sure that because there's lots of different microphones inside it, and I always make sure that it's on the second one in. I don't know if you can see that. That's how. Oh no, you probably can't see it because it's tiny. So I make sure it's the one where it's effectively facing you, because there's no reason for me to have any sound on the other side. That's the only thing I do. Now notice on this here, now that we've made the sound increase, the low sounds have come up. And that might mean if you want to get really pedantic about it, you might want to make those very low sounds. They're going to come through quite, they're going to come through. They'll be louder the times when they're probably completely silent. So on this volume variation, I tend to make it high, because actually that's doing the worst, making it worse. Make it low. I don't know. Essentially, that's a bit odd, actually. It's almost like the volume variation I've said it should be high, and now it's made it even worse, I think. But anyway, you can fiddle with the volume variation on these things in order to kind of meet your needs. So how are we doing in terms of getting through the basics? So we're just going to F11 this, come off that, hit the back button, and then go onto there. And so we've seen tracks, we've seen favorites. We will be splitting media. In fact, that's what I'll do next. So let's go and split the media. So the idea of splitting media is that I tend to record my things in one go, as in, so say, for example, I'm doing 7 videos from one module. I'll do them all in one go. Or I might do, there's 2 bits to every video. One where I'm kind of waffling about with my PowerPoint type thing going on. And then the other bit is the demo. But the 2 places have different properties. So I don't want a cursor in this area, but I do want a cursor in this area. So what I'm now going to do is I've dragged this along here. I'm going to right click on the arrow or whatever it is, the ruler, and I'm going to do split all. So right click on there, split all. Now you can do the shortcuts and so on, but I don't want to, that's not helpful to you guys if I do that. So I've done split all, and the reason why I want to do split all is I want to do different things in this area to what I want to do in this area. Now the first thing is that actually I don't necessarily want let me just see what I do at the end. Oh, actually here I reappeared, don't I? Look at this. So I reappeared. Oh, look. Looks like I reappear somewhere around here. Now I'm not going to get too fussy about this. Oh, there we are. That's quite good. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do another split here, split all. And so I've got a bit in the middle where I don't want my face to appear at all. Now, I was talking to Cheryl before the session started, and she was saying how when it's on a dark background, the green screen works fine. And when it's on a light background, it doesn't work fine. And we'll probably see that here. And so what we'll do is we'll do the green screen. In fact, it's so easy to do green screen, to be honest. We might as well just do it. So what we'll do is we'll do the green screen now. Yeah, which is theoretically an advanced technique, but it's not that advanced. So what I'm going to do is I need to go to, it's in a very odd place. So I think, so it's visual effects and it's called remove a color. And so what you'll need to do is go to visual effects, remove a color, and then you'll need to hit the star and then go back to favorites. Then what you do is you'll have to do one important thing here. You'll need to right click on track 2 and select all media on the track. So arguably I could have done the green screen first and all that sort of stuff. Then what you do is you get remove a color and you drag it all the way down onto the bit where you have the green screen and release. And if it's anything like mine, nothing has happened. Right? So then what I do is I go up to the tolerance at the top right and I make it 67. Usually gets the job done. In fact, it has to get the job done because you're working with the same video. So then what I'm going to do is I'm now going to make myself bigger. Look at this. Make myself bigger. Okay. Smaller, bigger. I'll make myself really big, make myself pretty big. In fact, I'm actually going to do this and I'm going to move across here. So there's Rory looking quite surprised. Let me have a look a bit, make him look a bit happier. There we are. He looks kind of pensive. So we've now got me on the screen. No laughing. Got me on the screen, but it's not quite right. Cheryl, what should we do? What do we want to do with this to make it look a bit better?
With the picture of you?
Yeah. Well, apart from not having me in it.
Making look better.
Yeah. More hair.
Well, we need to crop it a bit, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Need to just focus on the,
Yeah.
you know.
And bear in mind that I didn't learn about what this icon was for about 8 months. Didn't know what it did. I didn't even know it was there. Okay. So this is in fact, these two, I'm not quite sure what you can resize with this one. And this one's for, well, look at that. That's just disaster. In fact, that is for like moving the whole thing around. Why would you want to do that? I don't know. But I've just messed it up anyway. So I'm going to go back. There we are. So I'm going to do Z. Oh, oops. I've just removed the color thing. How do you do redo? File, edit. There you are. I've never redone anything. Move it across here, make him a bit bigger. And then we're going to do the cropping side of things. And so that's the bit where we do this bit here. It's really important. Click on there. And then we're going to go drag this one all the way across here. And then we're going to drag it all the way across here. It's just normal cropping. And then drag tiny bit down there. And that's probably about right. It's all right. We can kind of go. So you can play around with that. And now what you'll see is that the whole thing will go through. Now, as it happens, the green screen isn't that bad on this. It's probably about the first time it's ever worked. But quite often, if you don't light your green screen correctly, you will have bad green screen. Now watch this thing here. So you've got me on the screen here. So let me just go put myself, make sure I'm absolutely on the screen. So hello everyone. Yeah, but the reason why it looks okay is because I've got lights on me, like this one here and this one here. So this is what it looks like without lights. This is what it looks like when you've got lights. So I've got two lights from two different sources. One is just a little, clip-on thing. And the other one is really, really nice. This one here let me just see if I can actually get it out. This one here, which you can see here, is on a tripod, but I can actually change the color intensity, and I can actually change the light balance. So it's either cool or whatever it is, because it'll never be right wherever you are anyway. And you need to make sure there's no like bright lights coming in and all that sort of stuff. So, but that makes a huge difference to the quality of whatever it is you're trying to show. So how does that, any questions at this point? Anyone? Are people playing along? I can't see the chat at all.
I just would want to say I wish I'd known about crop before, because normally I'm trying to like get my green screen to like fill all the spaces, but that my webcam can see, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what was I doing?
I know, it's mad, isn't it? Well, it took me eight months to learn that it was there. I don't even know why I went onto it. So there we are. We've had at least one thing come out of this. So now we've got this, but I theoretically, let's just for argument's sake, what I think, I want people to see me at the start so they connect with me. And then in the middle, I want them to concentrate on what they're trying to learn. So so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on the one in the middle and say, goodbye, Rory. And that's it. He's gone. So now we've got Rory's here, blah, 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 blah. He's gone, disappeared, and he reappears here. Now you can soften things up with the fade. So I'm not sure whether it's probably under transitions. And then you can see it buried under transitions, and you've got the fade thing there. Really, really, really important one. I'm not bothered about all of this cube rotate business, flip, glow, God knows what. Just fade. Good enough for me. So all you do with that is once you've got it into your favorites, is you drag the fade down. Now, if you want it left side, you drag it to the left. You want it right side, you drag it to the right. If you want it on both, you drag it into the middle. Now, if you drag it into the middle, what that means is you will get this to kind of come in gradually. I don't know if you saw that. I'll do it again. So this is it coming in gradually.
Yeah, sorry. Which one are we dragging it onto, Rory? Sorry, I missed that.
Drag it onto, well, you can drag it onto track two,
yeah.
which has got my face on.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So we've done that. So let's just jump back to the app and just make sure we've done the split in media. Okay, fine. It's F11 that. Audio, I do tend to do the audio. So so the audio side of things is if you actually, I'm going to do select all media on the track because I've split it now. So the danger now that you've done the splitting is that you might only do the action on the bit that you've split. So this is a really dangerous time for you. And then instead of changing the audio this way, which you can do, you're better off just go onto this gain thing here and do 115. That's what I tend to do because you're supposed to put the decibel levels at a certain level, and that's roughly works for me anyway. So it's 115% is what I tend to do for that. So do select all media on track. Select all media on track. Yeah. In fact, that didn't work because it was 115. So now it has worked correctly, and they're all at 115%. But that's just personal, it's what I think it should be. Audio smoothing we've done already. That's the thing that stopped the levels from going, that made the levels a bit more equal. We've done the audio noise and we set it to 7. We've actually faded in the video, but we didn't fade in the audio. You can fade in the audio, but it's only really relevant to music tracks and so on. Hey, Antti.
Hey, can I ask a question about the noise removal? What does sensitivity do?
It's a very good point. I mean, I think it really well, let me just look at the sensitivity. It's like what's the tolerance threshold for like what is noise, and then the amount is like once you found it, how much of that thing that it thinks is noise are you trying to remove?
Oh, okay.
But it is kind of something to play with. It's typically the amount I just do 0 and 7. But your issue is usually if you've got bad audio, you're going to have problems in this area, whatever you do. So the trick is,
right,
get yourself a decent microphone. Make sure you put it on you're not going to get rid of keyboard bashing sounds because it's not really noise.
right.
And that's why you work that out, that you actually should just put it onto a surface and then put some foam type thing on and so on. So there's me. So I've got you guys on screen. So those two things there. Let me just jump back again. You guys off. So we've done the silence audio. So we've actually gone through the level, and we've separated the audio and the video. We did that already. You can see we finish it in a minute. You can all go home and have an early dinner. So the Camtasia recording side of things we've done already, and then we're on to these advanced techniques here. And these are all well worth us doing. So I'm just going to look at that. Don't click on that, Rory. So this is our level 2 Camtasia techniques. And what I'm going to do is we've done the image cropping. Now, remember on this that, we'll just jump around and sort of have a bit of fun here. I'm going to show you some cool stuff. But if I go onto the media, and if I go onto the plus, and if I get to import media, and if I just literally go and find any photograph, let's just find one here. If I Snagit, I'll put loads of junk in Snagit. So there's a bit of image. There's an image there. Why don't I find something from the course? I don't know. Might be this thing here. Well, let's go to that. So I brought this image into my media bin, which is really just a reference out to that. It doesn't actually live there. Then I'm going to drag it onto here. And then what I'm going to do is, you can see on the screen here where it is. You can see that where it physically is time-wise. So say, for example, I wanted this into the right place. I'm like, oh, I've cropped it. Look, there you are. Go up to there. I've changed the size of it. Maybe I'm talking about this on this occasion. And then maybe what I want to do is I want to sort of go across here and then sort of say, well, actually, do you know what? I want it to come in like this. So it comes like that. But maybe what I want to do is I want to go to favorites and I want to fade it in, just drag that in there. And instead of it doing that, then what it'll do is it'll fade it nicely in like this. So ideas around how this is ideas around how you draw attention to things and so on. Honestly, you could lose yourself in this forever. So that's kind of cool. The other sort of thing that you might want to do is, that I'll forget if I don't tell you now, is annotations. So there's annotations here. And as you can see, I've selected 2 types of annotations. In reality, I only ever use this one here, which is the bottom ABC one. So once it's in my favorites, once it's in my favorites, I drag it onto the screen here and say, hi, everybody. There. So there we are. We've got our hi, everybody has come in, and we can do the whole fading thing if you want to. So we've got this thing coming in. Hi. In this video, I am going to share. There you are. But of course, what would we really do? Would we probably do something which would be a bit more like, what your name is and all that sort of thing. So that's when we're going to do this thing called lower third, which is really weird. So what I need to do on that, I'm going to go onto my library, click on the library. And have you guys got there, Cheryl and Antti? Because this is really important. It's easy to miss. Then you click on the lower thirds thing. And then, to be honest, I just use this one. So you just get this bit here and drag it onto the screen, okay? Drag it on the screen here. And what you'll see is this lower thirds thing comes on. Yeah? Nice and easy. Now you can position it where you want, of course. So you can then go, actually, do you know what? I want it kind of going, oops. Got to be so careful with some of these things. You need to be selected on the right thing. There it is. I'm selected on it now, which means I should. Oh, I think it's because I haven't actually selected that that moving tool. That should. Yeah, this is one of the areas which can be awkward. Oh man. Oh dear. It can be a real beast to just pick the thing that you're trying to actually pick. So that should. I don't think it will do actually. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of a bit look, just have to accept that this bit of it here is awkward. And certainly in my experience, it has been awkward. So might just be a bit of latency there. So yeah, you can see it's trying desperately to pick the next thing. And I don't quite know why it wants to do that. I typically have not had too much difficulty with it. If I was that bothered about it, to be honest, I'd just do that. And then I would do that. And I would get it to where I wanted it to anyway, and just drag it down again, and then move it across a bit. See, it's just desperate to actually pick that thing. I don't know why. Now, when you've got your lower thirds, what you do is you do something like Rory Neary, and I'll do www.powerplatformlearn.com and then delete the rest of it. So let's see what this does then. So I'm going to get rid of this bit of text here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this thing to play it and just have a see what's going on. First app. So what we're going to do in this session is we're going to go to office.com. There we are. The other thing that I tend to do is, sorry about my dog. The other thing I tend to do on this lower thirds thing is I tend to go on there, and on this subtitle thing here, it's never dark enough. So I make it bold. So that way you can actually see it. How's that looking? Yeah.
Good.
So that's looking good for you guys. Excellent. Yeah. Anything in the chat at this point? And please do let me know.
Yeah, there's a good question from Thomas. Why the name lower thirds? Just because it's on the lower third of the screen?
Honestly, pass. It's not something that yeah, I mean why do they call it lower thirds? I think it's as simple as it's the lower third of the screen. And that's all I can think it is. And the irony is when you bring it in, it takes up the whole of the screen. The actual object takes up the whole of the screen. So they're really clever though. I think they're really neat. They do add to the professionalism quite a bit. So there's your lower thirds. What else are we going to do? Let us jump out. And so just get you guys down here. So this image, this is my favorite bit of all. This is the best one ever. This is the thing that makes you look like you're just brilliant. So this is so good. Now, so this is my favorite one of all. And you wouldn't know it was even there. This was the only one that I found from because I never bothered YouTubing how to use Camtasia, but this was the only one that I found on YouTube, and it is another one that's buried. So I'm going to go into animations. No, don't go on to. Oh no, look, animations, and there it says zoom and pan. Then you go to animations. This is the one you want. Custom. This is brilliant. It looks rubbish, doesn't it? It looks unimportant, but it is really, really cool. So what we've got now is inside our favorites, you've got the custom. Is that right, Cheryl and Antti? You've got custom. So now what you're going to do is you are going to, so what happens when I do my videos, quite often I've got loads of points. As you can see from this here, then, if my face is on the screen and if I've got it in, I don't know, if I kind of put this into, look, how cool is this? If I put this into the mode where I don't wrap to, then you'll see that my face would get, I'd have to kind of move out of the way. And that is what this bit is for. This is going to allow us to change the size of the image and so on. So I've lost my people. Oh, there you are. There you are. Hello. So what I'm going to do now is I am now going to show you how you can change where these objects are. So I'm going to click on my face. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag. Now I'm going to just say, for argument's sake, I'm going to start off really big. Whoa, look at that. It's massive. Right. It's like giant version of Rory. So I'm going to, I do have a very gurney look when I do my videos. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort of say, have a look at this thing here, and I say, oh crikey, I'm going to get rid of that lower third. So I'm not interested in it anymore. Kill you. But what I am going to do is I'm going to say, well, do you know what? I'm going to get it to that level there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself move out of the way, and this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to say, look, do you know what? At this point here, I'm happy with where I'm here. What I'm now going to do, I'm going to drag this really specifically to this exact spot. Can you see what I've done? So I'm going to Control Z. I'm going to do it again. Drag, custom, all the way down to track 2 where my face is, and then let go. And nothing happens. Watch. I'll show you nothing happens. What is it? Nope, nothing happens. Watch, nothing happens. Your first app. So I just move around. So literally nothing happens. Nothing happens until you then change the size of things. And then the magic happens. Your first app. So what we're going to do in this session is that cool or is that cool?
That's very cool. I've seen that. I've seen that on some of your tutorials.
Very good. It's good, isn't it? How easy is that?
It is.
And look, it's part of this idea that I want to connect with people, but then there comes a point where I want them to focus on what I'm trying to tell them. And it's not about me, it's about what they're trying to learn. And that's why I get rid of my face for good chunks of the whole thing. So how are we doing for time? 1850, we're nearly there. So we've moved myself out of the way. Awesome.
Quick question. How do we get you back in? Like, how do you undo, like maybe you want to move out just for like 5 seconds and then, pop back in.
Same again. Drag custom.
Oh, okay.
Pop it down there. And then
rinse and repeat.
Yeah. In fact, you can make them go anywhere. Oh, watch. So you would then have a video which then looked a bit like. First app. So what we're going to do in this session is we're going to go to office.com and then going to go to. I must do that more often. People will learn nothing if I keep doing that. I'm looking forward to your first video, Antti. He'll be all over the place. You're doing music.
Good job. I never saw this before Scottish Summit. It's all I can say.
Okay, so that's it. We're actually getting close to having kind of completed the kind of the level 2. This is the bit I want to show you. Some really cool, important stuff. Now, see, the reason why I need my next little bit of an effect, so is because, have a look at that. Do you see my cursor there? Can you see it on the screen? Just at the bottom. I don't want to see my cursor, and I don't want to see it in any of this part here. Now, the cursor exists inside this, okay? The cursor exists inside this bit of the recording. And the way in which you can change it is you go up to this thing here, and you then drag the opacity down to 0. And that's how you make your cursor disappear. Now, I'll leave it so you can still see it, because I want to show you that you can actually change the scale, which is the size of the cursor. So you can actually change it, make it bigger cursor, which is what I tend to do in the middle. So when I'm in this area here, can you see it's really small? Now I'm going to say, well, actually, do you know what? In this area here, I want the cursor to be quite big. I'm going to say, let's just say it was 150%, because actually that usually is enough. Now, when it's in that area, you can just watch it and watch it waggling around. Should see it waggling around the screen. Oh, I'm not going to explain too much about what. Okay, so this cursor was waggling around the screen a bit there, which I don't think is good for learning. I want them to move directly from one place to another place. And the way in which I do that is I go on to the, yikes. Where do I find this? Cursor effects. Cursor effects. So you can do things which happen when you do the left click and all this sort of thing. I don't actually tend to do that. You can do it. But what I tend to do is the cursor smoothing is really, really important, I believe. So I drag the cursor smoothing. That's why I might edit about 7 videos at the same time, because I don't want to do this. I'll just do select all media on the track. And then what I do is I tend to have different tracks for different editing parts. So if it's the face bit, then I kind of move it around, and then that's what I tend to do anyway. So what that means now is that the cursor will move directly from one place to another. And what I can do is I can click on the create an app, and I can click on create an app, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to call it Marvel. So did you see that? And was that okay for you to see that it was moving directly from one place to another? Now, what you can do is you can do this. I've not put it in my favorites, but it could. I mean, I don't want to do a magnify. I just think that looks weird. But I do think the cursor, sometimes the cursor effects is an okay thing to do. Maybe you'll drag that down on there, and then what you'd have is the ability to see. And I can click on create an app, and then what I'm going to do. It's okay. Marvel video. Click create on that. It's actually quite nice. I'm not going to go back to my other 275 videos and changing it for that though. So and as you can see there, you could have actually changed the color of that thing there and do a color picker, and you can color pick and just grab it from anywhere really. And that could be the color of your click thing going on. Create on that. Quite nice. So that was the cursor smoothing side of things. I'm pretty sure we've pretty well got to the end. So image cropping, image moving, green screen, cursor size, etc., etc. We're pretty well at the end. This is probably the only session I've done which has been to time. So do you guys, Cheryl and Antti, before I do a wrap up, which is basically going to involve talking about all of the things that we've done so far, do you have any questions about, anything?
No, I don't.
No question.
I'm just stunned.
Yeah, this is like definitely taking me to another level with Camtasia. Like maybe the only question that I have is do you use any audio editing software like is it Adobe, like Adobe from Adobe or something, or do you just use Camtasia, or do you play with your?
Just use Camtasia.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's a barrier in the sense of, if you think about how many videos I've done, the only way to do those videos is to not have your quality at 100%, but have your quality at kind of, I don't know, let's call it 95%. Like, for example, I don't script my videos, because if I did, I wouldn't do them. Simple as that. So you can either have something that's been created or not. But what I do is when I do my videos, I spend a long time working out the order in which I'm going to tell people things. So for example, I was looking at this thing and actually thought, you know what? I think the favorites one, should be at the start. But if I didn't think it should be at the start, I might kind of go onto there and say, well, do you know what? That probably needs to be about lesson order 60, that sort of thing. And then it will sort of drop down to there. And then I kind of go on. So mentally, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell people things in the right order. I think that's more important than, I'm not a fan of PowerPoint, not a fan of it. I think there's a lot of overwork that happens in PowerPoint. But if you look at what we're looking at here, I've deliberately there's always a transition in, if you like. I know it's a harsh transition, but there's a transition in. You always know what I'm talking about because I've actually made it bold. So you always know what I'm talking about. So these sorts of things people don't do, but could do in PowerPoint, but people don't have time to do. But they do kind of have loads of stuff on the screen, whereas this just has a header, an image, and some words. And and because it's got a small amount of words, and I can't fit many characters in here, it forces me to be brief. So yeah, I don't know how I got onto that. So what I wanted to do now is just literally rerun the things that we've covered, and then we will close off.
Awesome. There is a question from chat from Didier. Can you zoom to a specific zone of the screen for a moment and then zoom out?
I think you probably can, but but I have never investigated it. So I did see that there was a zoom. Oh wow! So visual effects, is that a zoom?
They do that a lot with like Microsoft. I think does that a lot with their videos. Usually, when you go to Docs or something, you find one of their professionally made videos. It's always has that zoom in to something and zoom out.
Yeah.
Was that not in cursor effects?
Well, I think it might be, which is a really odd place for it to be. No, it's
magnify.
Which is not quite. It just means the area around the mouse gets a bit bigger, which is a bit weird. It's really weird. If you see it in operation, that is, it feels strange. So you can play around with these things. So on this one here, you can now see that it's zoomed, but really, maybe. I just think that the circle bit is always in the wrong kind of place, if you see what I mean. So it's like kind of, but yeah, like the thing is you could zoom it, but like how much time could you spend on it? I wonder if when they do that, they do it live, when they know they are going to something, they somehow zoom it at that point in time.
Just a keyboard zoom or whatever it is on Windows or something.
There is something called Smart Focus.
Oop.
Where's that?
Guys,
it's in animations.
Oh, animations.
Yeah, so I don't know if...
Apologies. It's I gotta put the kids to bed. I'm actually in their room. My office is in their room, and they're getting restless. It's 9 p.m. here, so I'm getting thrown out of my man cave. Rory, thanks so much for the session.
Brilliant.
I gotta put the little monkeys to bed.
Okay. I'm gonna drag this thing onto the screen and see what it does. I have no idea what it does. Smart focus. Oh no. I don't even know what it does. So I'm gonna leave that. I think it's possibly something a little bit more clever. But I'm gonna, as I say, I don't use that zooming thing. I just wouldn't have enough time in the production process to be able to consider that. But it would be cool if there was a way that you could do it whilst you're recording it. So what I'd like to do now is just wrap
just one
up.
comment, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw it's one of the tutorials for Camtasia, one of those small videos they have on the front. It's so easy to do, but of course I can't remember how to do it. One of the tutorials, it's like a 30 minutes video. It will show you how to zoom in and zoom out. It's really, really easy.
I'll take a look at that.
But so to you guys, yeah. To one, there are some instruction videos for doing certain things. If you go to help something in Camtasia, and they'll be there. So it's really easy.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It's just when I'm focused. It's just a question of what you just run out of time to learn stuff, and that's kind of.
I know. Yeah. But it's really convenient though, and a lot of guys use it for their demo videos and so on, and it makes sense if you want to focus on something, and it will be as not a tiny, but in like 150%, and then to zoom in again to 100%.
Yeah, so I'll look that up actually.
It's really easy.
And it might
really actually, in zoom and pan, in animations, if you grab the screen area, you can zoom into specific areas on the screen using that.
Zoom and pan. Oh, hold on.
It's in
Animations.
Animations. And if you click on the tab, that tab, the zoom and pan tab at the top. Yeah.
And then what do you do?
You can, if you grab the corner, if you can zoom using that box there, but there you go.
Oh, that's clever. Oh, and then it acts like a kind of.
And then you go to right, then you zoom out again. So this. Exactly.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you're right. I would have to personally. I would have to do that whilst I was recording it, in the sense of, and I think that's what people probably do most.
Oh, they do.
I just,
they do.
I just can't imagine zooming in every single thing that you were focusing on at that time. But yeah, it'd be worth finding out the options there. So if it's okay, I'm going to do a little wrap up of the session. So we covered tracks, because tracks, now bear in mind with tracks, the track that is at the top is more important than the track at the bottom. By that, I mean that the image precedes everything else. So that's how to read it. We saw splitting media. We did the split all. We did the audio to 115%. We smoothed the audio so that I didn't shout or was too quiet. We did the audio noise and made it 7. We used favorites, which were really, 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 really important. We faded the audio and video, and we silenced the audio, and we did that right at the start. In fact, we didn't fade the audio, by the way. There is an audio fade option that you've got available to you. And then we separated the audio and video, and I do recommend that. So that was when we did the kind of level 100 bit. I need to go wrap 2 on this. And then we did a piece on the Camtasia recording. And so there are some important points on there. You will need to experiment with that. So it's quite a hard one to kind of demo. But you get the little 3, 2, 1 once you hit the record, and away you go. I am gonna come off this and then just talk about the and then we went on to the image cropping. So that was the thing that Cheryl was quite pleased to see. We saw the image moving, which was that custom thing. We did green screen. You chose 67%, but you must make sure you light your green screen properly. We made the cursor size. We bumped it up to 150%. We smoothed the cursor. We even did, we removed the cursor in some cases. And we also did this cursor focus, but I suggested that maybe that wasn't for me. Lower thirds were those intros bits. And remember, we made it bold in that particular area because it wasn't very bold. And we saw, this is just a repeat of the dynamic moving images. I'm going to show you one more thing. And that is that when you finally have the ability to make your recordings, this is what you do. In order to be able to go away and make lots of recordings pre-produced at the same time, what you do is you add more than one file in here. So you go 1, 2, 3, and you go open. And then when you go next, what that will do is it will basically rack up a load. I don't know why it's doing this. It's GIF only. I did a GIF recently. That's Camtasia course. And then you go next. And what that will do is it will basically run through all 3 recordings. That means you can go away, you can have a dinner, and without having to come back and continually go, oh, I need to do the next one. Which one is the next one? I can't remember which one the next one is and all this stuff. So you basically just do it that way. And that is a massive win for us. So I'm just going to jump back here and finish up. I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming to the session. Please let people know about the sorts of things that I've been doing at Power Platform Learn. So by that I mean the Power Apps course that I've put together. So that's where I've kind of learned my tips and tricks. I will show you that in just a moment. And thank you to Cheryl and Antti for coming on the session today. Having you on has been fantastic.
I've loved it. Thank you very much. I've learned loads, as always. Thank you, Rory.
So I am going to finish with a tiny little advert for the piece. Well, maybe you should advertise it, Cheryl. So Cheryl, this is the this is my main purse, my master. So this is the course that I've put together.
Oh yeah.
And it is, you know, this is what I would have wanted when I first started learning about Power Apps, Canvas apps. And so this is what I've put together. Don't quite know why I did it, to be honest, but it is very, very comprehensive. It is very structured. I spent 6 weeks on actually doing the structure and building a platform which could kind of handle it. And you will learn, you know, if you do, you know, choose to do the course, I'd be very happy for you to do that. It's a free course. Then, you know, you'll learn a bit more about Power Apps and you'll see a few bits and pieces about Camtasia along the way.
Yeah, it's great. Honestly, I can recommend it. I've done it. I keep going back to new things. I keep revisiting old things. And because it's in really bite-sized chunks, you can fit it into your day. If you've got a 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you can learn something. And it assumes no level of knowledge. So I've been able to signpost people who are completely new to Power Platform to this, as well as people who actually have been doing it for a while. I just think it's awesome. Thank you, Rory, again.
Thanks, everyone. And I hope to see you in future courses. Make sure you drop something out on Twitter. It's all good. You know, it's all good stuff for, you know, it's kind of I mean, it's great having these calls because you get feedback. But it is great to hear, you know, when people, you know, retweet stuff and so on. It's, you know, it's kind of, it's what people that are into that sort of thing like. So, yeah, thank you, everyone. And, yeah, enjoy the rest of your evenings.